Okay, I want to say shalom to everyone. Thank the Most High for another day here. I want to get into an actual Q&A, like an inquiry that a person had in regards to losing a member of their body. Um, it's a good topic. I actually thought about going into this a while back on even the miracles that Christ performed. Um, but I guess if what's happening here is some people believe, and I actually heard this before, but I thought I would just go into it based on an email that I got. Uh, will you be able to enter into the kingdom of heaven, or will you be accepted if you actually have an injury, or if you have an amputation, or things of that nature? So I will go into that just a few minutes. The scripture that was brought to my attention was Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 1. So I'm gonna go there first. Okay. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 1. And it says, He that is wounded in the stones, excuse me, he that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. So in this particular part, it's talking about an actual wound, injury to your privy member, or if you're wounded by stones or have a privy member cut off, you should not enter into the congregation of the Most High. So let's just look at the precept to understand exactly what's going on based on this particular verse. Okay, so let's go to Leviticus chapter 21. I'm going to start at the 17th verse and read through the 24th verse. All right, let's go to Leviticus chapter 21 verse 17. And it says, Speak unto Aaron, saying, Whosoever he be of thy seed in their generation that hath any blemish, let him not approach to the offer the bread of his God. For whosoever man he be that hath a blemish, he shall not approach a blind man, or a lame, or he that hath a flat nose, or anything superfluous, or a man that is broken footed or broken handed. So I'm going to stop there. So we understand that this particular scripture is talking about the Levites that will be set up as priests, the sons of Aaron, that will be under the priesthood. They had, back then in this generation, they actually had to be 100% perfect towards the Most High. You're talking about a priest. And see, that's when the Roman Catholics and things of that nature, they run off and take our records and act like they are, the perfect people that can project Christianity or whatever. But we understand, based on scripture, that the sons of Levi are the Haitians today that are doing total punishment in the land of Haiti because of their imperfection. They had to be perfect. Okay, they actually, if you were set up to be a Levite under the priesthood, you actually had to be 100% towards the Most High. They had a certain ability that even if another tribe was to touch the Ark of the Covenant at a particular time, that tribal folk would die. Only the sons of Aaron that was selected under the priesthood was only allowed to do certain things. So I'm just going to read this in more depth. All right, so let's go to verse 19. Or a man that is broken footed, or broken handed, or crooked back, or dwarf, or that hath a blemish in his eye, or scurvy, or scabbed, or hath his stones broken. No man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron, the priest shall come nigh to offer the offerings to the Most High. So only the priests, that actual that part of the seed of Aaron or any other tribe, was not allowed to go into certain parts of the sanctuary at this particular time. All right. Then it says, of the Lord made by fire, he hath a blemish. So you had a certain blemish. So let me just read it again. Verse 21 again. No man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron, the priest shall come nigh to offer the offering of the Lord made by fire. He hath a blemish. He shall not come nigh to offer the bread of his God. he shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy. So the most holy and of the holy. The most holy, it's talking about under the priesthood. Only he shall go in. So only the most holy was able to go into the sanctuaries. All right. Go in unto the veil, nor come nigh unto the altar, because he hath a blemish, that he profane not my sanctuary. So a person that has a blemish at that particular time wasn't allowed to go towards the sanctuaries that the Most High set in place of the priesthood. For I, the Lord, do sanctify them. So the Most High would have to sanctify that particular person. And Moses told it unto Aaron and to his sons and to all the children of Israel. So let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 1. All right. He that is wounded, mind you, that's a precept. So we understand that this is actually talking about the under the priesthood. All right. He that is wounded in the stones or have his private member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into in the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Most High forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the ways when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against the Balaam, the son of Beor of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God shall not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing into thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee. Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity, all the days forever. And of course it goes into don't abhor an Edomite, he is your brother. Don't hate an Egyptian. But what I wanted to read, because the main focal point of this particular video is regards to understanding, can you enter into the kingdom of heaven, or are you, what the Christians like to use, saved? But we all know that you're saved at the end, long as you continue in steadfast and living holy. The same shall be saved. But there's a certain you would say passing of the fire that you have to go through. So he that is wounded in the stones or have his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. So what it's basically saying here, if you are broken, if you are at war, you went to war and your thing get cut off, based on this, during the time of the eunuchs, because there were certain times where our people would get close to certain other nations. That's why when you read the other verses, it goes down to verse 2, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation. So it's actually saying that you can't enter into the congregation at this particular time if you are dealing with another nation. That's just how it was back then. But now, since we're under grace under Christ, if you got your thing cut off for certain reasons, or if you got something that's amputated, or something that something of your body that's been cut off, don't feel saddened or dismayed. Just understand that we are under the grace period because of this generation of time that we're in. See, once you're in slavery and bondage and things of the nation, doing generations after generations, which was on purpose, and I'm going to do a lesson on that so we can understand that the Most High always had it planned for us to be dispersed and punished. Okay, I'll go into that because some people believe that it was a mistake that we made. Of course, we believe that we make our own choices, but like I said, there's a level of conflict with that, because if you're making a choice, and I know I'm going off topic, but I'm gonna go back to it. If you're making a choice, then how is the Most High involved? If he know everything, so how do you make your own choices if he already know it? But anyway, to go back to understand that we are in the grace, and if you have something that's cut off on your body, or amputated, don't get dismayed. Okay, don't think that you're not going to make it into the kingdom of heaven, or you won't, or the Most High won't accept you. And I'm going to show you why. Let's go to Luke chapter 6, verse 6 through 10. All right, Luke 6, verse 6, and I'm going to read through the 10th verse. And it says, "And it came to pass also on another Sabbath that he entered into the synagogue," which is talking about Christ, "and taught. And there was a man whose right hand was withered." All right. "And the scribes and the Pharisees watched him whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, that they might find an accusation against him." So they needed something against Christ, right? "But he knew their thoughts, and said to the man which had the withered hand, Rise up and stand forth in the midst. And he arose and stood forth. Then said Yeshua unto them, I will ask you one thing. Is it lawful on the Sabbath day to do good, or to do evil, to save lives, or life, or destroy life, or destroy it, excuse me? And look around about upon them all. He said unto the man, Stretch forth thy hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored whole as the other." So of course it goes, they were filled with madness. But I wanted to read that because this is esoteric as well, which means it's metaphorically written. Just because, you know, we're broken, certain things have happened to us. You know, a lot of us will be going to these wars, and certain things happen to your body. Don't think just because you are not, you know, full in 100% and, you know, in the body. And I'm going to show you a scripture where it actually speaks about sometimes it's better for one of your members to be cut off, even though that's metaphorical. But this is actually talking about somebody's hand was withered away. And you got to look at the esoteric understanding. It says his right hand, which represents Christ at this particular time, because Christ is at the right hand of the Father. So the right hand of this man was withered, and Christ touched his hand, he healed him, and it was restored. Okay. And, you know, based on understanding that, this should kind of like eliminate in people's minds, or, you know, just specific person in mind, that, you know, just because you have something that's off or a limb that's missing, don't get caught up into believing that you won't make it, or the Most High won't accept you. Because first of all, we see that Christ can restore you, even if you know, your physical life here is really, it's just temporal anyway. All right, so let's go to another scripture here. Let's go to Matthew chapter 3, verses 27 through 30. All right, Matthew chapter 3. Excuse me, Matthew chapter 5. Salakia. Matthew chapter 5. And I'm going to start at the 27th verse and read through the 30th. And it says, Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. And when it's talking about looking at a woman, it's talking about you looking at her and you rubbing yourself, okay? Having sexual thoughts and you arousing yourself. That's what it's actually talking about. Because you got to, and I'm going to do another lesson on this, and I touched on it a while back. Some people believe that if you look, or if you have something in your mind, as we get confused with a thought, you are a sinner. But that's not so, because that's just in an imagination form. Okay, so the Most High will cast down all imaginations. But a thought process is only based on action. Like, you know, when you speak, it comes through based on a pulse of thought. When you act out those impulses. But like I said, I'm going to do a lesson on that too. All right, so verse 29 says, And if thy right hand offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for that one of thy members should perish. You see it, one of the members should perish. Now this could be physical as well. Not saying that that is what we're supposed to do, because you got some religions that believe that if a man do this or something happen, they will in certain countries cut off, certain members of your body. All right. I'm gonna read verse 29 again. And if thy right hand offend thee, or if thy right eye, offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. You see that? Now this is of course talking about metaphorically the spiritual aspect. And cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish. One of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. Now, the reason why I wanted to read this is because some people have to get their arms cut off, have to get something cut off for them to, for them to really pay attention to the Most High. Certain things, you ever notice that people, when things go south for them, something happens to their body, they become disabled. Now they become more fervent in scripture, and I want to do the right thing, I want to do this for the Most High. This is of course talking about spiritually, but when you look at it on a physical level, people tend to gravitate closer to the Most High when things are not really going well with them, if they're disabled or things of that nature. Not to say everyone have to go through that, but what I'm saying is I know it's tough, but what we realize here when we read this verse 30, and if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. So it's talking about if you always messing around touching women or messing around with lust, don't deal with it. Cut it off. That means just don't deal with yourself. Cut that part of you out. Your eye, gouge it out, which means spiritually don't even look at a woman if you're weak in that area. Okay, and cast it out from thee, for it is profitable for thee. And it's very deep when it says profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into the lake of fire, or to hell. Excuse me. So I wanted to pretty much read that so we can understand that even if a person is disabled, a lot of them are better off than a lot of us that walk around every day doing what we think we want to do. The Most High will receive them quicker, opposed to some of us that think we can do what we want, because we're too preoccupied with other stuff. But sometimes the Most High have a hold on you, like Job. You ain't going away. He'll knock you down. He will allow an arm or something to get cut off, or a leg or whatever. So that's just the way the Most High deal. I mean, like I said, it's tough, but at the end, that the Most High will restore you totally, the way He made you from the beginning. That's what the priesthood was about in Deuteronomy 23:1 is actually talking about. During that time of sanctuaries and being cleanliness, and once you read down to the other laws, it talks about this sanctification of how you have to be at that particular time. If you're under the priesthood, if you was a priest, you had to be 100% perfect, because you are geared in tune totally with the Most High to give blessings, and then sacrifice. When people would sacrifice a lamb, a dove, a turtle dove, things of that nature, or a bullock, you would notice that they would go to the priest. So that's mainly what that scripture was actually saying. And then I wanted to read the precepts in Leviticus 21 verses 17 through 24. So hopefully that makes sense. If anybody got any questions, I'll do my best to see if I can answer. All right. Shalom.